what's going on, everybody? So after a couple week hiatus, I taking a break on this thing, working on some other projects. Decided to finally jump back on the legacy build here. Right now we are working on finishing up the last little bit of wiring. Just kind of messing with the DCCD controller stuff here, kind of seeing how all this works. I got the factory controls hooked up into this center console trim piece here. Should go like that. Just kind of seeing how everything hooks up. This is the G-force meter, just plugging everything in. I think I'm going to put the actual controller. This is the DCCD Pro Spider. I might put it right here where the airbag module used to go, but you can see that it just goes right through the harness and the firewall, plugs right in there. I need to give it a ground right here, this thing, and then this brown wire attaches to the e-brake. So I got this hooked up. It's really dirty down here, but that's hooked up. It actually hooks up in line, so your factory e-brake stuff works perfect. So that's all good. I'm trying to get ready to put the dash in, so I'm working on getting everything kind of buttoned up. The ECU stuff still is down here, not plugged in, but mostly everything is connected where it needs to go, except for the stuff that actually connects to the dash. Like a lot of these connectors down here connect to the actual dash harness. So I just finished the wiring in the wheel well down there. I need to find the bracket that goes down there. I kind of lost that. It's in here somewhere in this mess. But I finalized the wheel well. So I had to cut this grommet here a little bit to get I cut like a circle out of it so I could fit this big harness in here, tucked it up above the frame, and that goes into here and integrates the engine harness on this side. There's engine harnesses on both sides on GDs. So, but yeah, it's all done. So the wheel well, the wheel liner can go back in. That was the last thing I needed to do for that. I needed to bolt up the fuse box down here. So down inside here, I got these bolts kind of started. But this bracket that bolts the fuse box in needs to all get tucked back up in there, so I can hopefully have some room for the ECU. So I think I'm going to cut these tabs off the ECU because the GD ECU is a little bit bigger. So this is the old legacy ECU, and it's just a little bit bigger. So in order to fit it in there, there's no way I'm able to fit it in here with these tabs on it. So cut those off. And I should be able to hopefully just slide it up in there once all this bracketry is in here and everything. It should tuck up right in here. That's my hope. So, all right, let's see if I can get some work done. All right, man, that was tough. So I got the fuse box bolted in, the bolts back there. I had to remove some of this stuff. I'll probably put it back in there. But now I want to see, oh, not that one. I want to see if I can get this ECU to fit up in there. So it's real tight. I don't know how we're gonna do this, but I'm gonna have to get creative here. I'm not sure. Okay, I think I got this figured out. So we got our ECU. Actually fits in here pretty good. So I got a couple more wiring things here for that go to the dash, but I got my brackets in. I finished all the heater core stuff. I got my bracket over there, and that right there is actually the cruise control module. So that was the couple extra connectors I was missing. That white one down there goes to the dash. So I just got to finish up getting little mounting points for these relays and stuff. Then I dropped the steering column down a little bit so we can slip the dash in over it. Everything should be pretty much ready to go. You know, it looks like a mess. We're starting to get there. Okay, a little test fit with the dash in here. Still got to figure out a lot of like where this stuff's gonna go, the fuel pump controller, figure out how to tuck a lot of that up in there, but yeah, a lot of it's fitting pretty nicely. I got a few questions like down in here. I think this is the old TCU stuff that I don't need because this wasn't automatic. I thought they were gonna remove a lot of this stuff, but I guess they didn't. I got to figure out where this goes because this ties into like this ignition cylinder and stuff. This guy I'm not sure about. And that's about it. I got most of the dash harness stuff attached here. This is doesn't really fit how it should anymore, because this used to go onto the ECU stud over here, but that's no longer here. So I just got one bolt in the dash, just kind of holding it up. But I can put all the bolts in later once we kind of finalize everything. But put the steering column back up. Kind of give you a picture of what it's going to look like. I can't wait to get the cluster in here and actually get to see what that looks like in there. But coming up into the engine bay, I got my I found the hybrid MAF set up, so that'll plug in right there. I got to figure out how I'm gonna make this wiring look neat, because it is really long, way longer than I was expecting. But everything else is looking pretty good. This should be the perfect length. It'll sit right there. All my alternator and AC stuff right there. I'm going to try to use the old legacy air conditioning compressor. Pretty much the whole AC system on this it's R12 refrigerant, but it still works. It's still charged, and so that's why I've been kind of like working around it, because it blows super cold, so I want to keep it. And I also don't want to evacuate it into the atmosphere, because that's really bad for the environment. So someday I'm sure I'll convert it to 134A, so it's more serviceable. But for as long as it works, I'm just going to keep it. So getting this to fit on the 257 will be interesting. It should fit all right if I use the other bracket. But yeah, so this is my transmission stuff here. This is I think this is the O2. And this is the actual transmission connector. I need to get the transmission in there. It's all ready to go. It's so big and heavy that it's really difficult to get it in there. So we just kind of been procrastinating that, but it's all ready to go. I got my new axle seals in it. The shifter's already in the car. We were working on my brother's car here. His transmission's all in. We just got his rear diff and axles in. Because he's doing a little bit different setup. He's keeping an R160, but he's also going to try to use Brembos, because I have another set of Brembos, so he's going to try to get those to fit. But we're still trying to figure out the best route to make those work, and also he needs to figure out front axles, because I think there's a year of WRX axle that he can use with the 5x100 knuckles, but also fit the 6-speed. Because he really wants to keep his wheels, because he's got these sick period correct original speed lines. They're not reproductions, they're actual speed lines in super good condition. So obviously he wants to keep those. So he's got his 6-speed is actually an 06, which has the 1.1 to 1 center diff. So he had to get a 3.54 rear LSD differential at like a WRX. So that's the right gear ratio for this thing. So a little complicated. Still trying to figure out that whole situation. And his motor is still at the machine shop. We haven't heard anything. It's been there for months. So a little update on his car, but things are starting to make some progress on this thing. I do need to start. I want to get it on the ground. I think that'd be really cool to see it on the ground. I need to get the steering stuff figured out, get my tie rods on and my sway bar set up, and then put the brakes on, so I can put the wheels on and we can actually set it on the ground. We did test fit this one wheel. It fits, kind of. But what was weird about it was this side. I think something with the strut is in here wrong, because it just has, no matter what I do, it just has positive camber. So I need to figure that out. Maybe take the shock or the coilover back out and see if there's something going on with it. I'm not sure if I clocked it wrong or if there's anything like that going on, but I'd really like to get this thing on its wheels, sitting on the ground. I think that'd be super cool, because it's just a pile of parts. I did source a new window, so I got to switch that out. I mean, there's so much to do, because this back window here has a pretty gnarly chip taken out of it. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's chipped pretty bad. So I don't want to pay for nice expensive tint on a window that's chipped. So I got to swap out that, get this door panel back on. I had to take this off because the locks were kind of stuck halfway because when I disconnected the battery, I don't know what happened, but I basically had to do that to manually override the lock. But yeah, that's a little update for now. Let's keep chugging. So I'm just working on getting my custom gauge cluster in here. Super excited about this thing. I was able to source a tachometer from a 1989 Legacy RS-RA. This actually, I didn't get this shipped in from New Zealand from a guy parting one out, but I basically integrated this into the factory cluster. I just also had to source a manual faceplate so it doesn't have the park neutral drive, because obviously this thing was automatic, as all touring wagons are. So, but I also put that sticker on there because it's, you know, STI swapped now, so I figure it's kind of appropriate. But also it's in the right pink, the whatever it's called, the cherry blossom red. I got those from Boxer Beauty. If you guys don't know who they are, they make all kinds of really cool reproduction stickers and stuff, and it matches my knob, so should be pretty perfect. But just kind of getting an idea what this will look like with my Nardi wheel. I still got a few connectors down here I got to figure out what they go to, like this one. Just can't find the other end to this. But yeah, it looks really cool. I can't wait to get the rest of this thing back together, because I really just want to see this dash put together. So much work's gone into it. So now I'm just working on trying to get the front suspension set up. I put the little test fit with the Brembos. They're not fully tightened down, but at least you know, they're kind of on here and out of the way. I still got to make brake lines. But really all that's left in the front is I need to switch out these tie rods, because this is like an old used rack that I got off eBay, so I don't really want to reuse this one. And the other one's cut off, so I don't know what happened there. Hopefully I think this thing was in an accident, so that tie rod is cut. So I got new tie rods, so I can hook those up. Luckily these control arms came with nice OEM ball joints, so I don't have to worry about any of that. But I don't think any of these knuckles are bent from the, you know, the accident it was in, but you know, we'll just have to see. I might end up doing wheel bearings and stuff anyway on these, but I like to really get this thing, you know, as a roller right now, because I'm sick of looking at it on jack stands. So I need to get my tie rod tool out and get those tie rods off, but I just kind of want to take a look at this thing. So I'd really like to see it with all the wheels on it, sitting on the ground at ride height. That'd be awesome. So I'm just down under here. Let's pull the boot off. So this is the inner tie rod right here. So I just need to unscrew it from this thing. And they make a special tool for that. I still need to center the rack. I'm not exactly sure where center is yet, but I can always do that later. Just drop it down, center it on the steering column. So for now, I just need to get these tie rods connected, because free floating front wheels isn't good. Okay, I got my tool here. Pulled the old one off. Old bent thing, and got this new one. It's just a cheap aftermarket one, but I need something. Got to save money on the budget somewhere, so I'll probably end up replacing these later. But I'll just thread this guy in there and use our tool to tighten it up. Don't forget to grease your ball joint. Work on the outer. Okay, I got this one all on. It's just a temporary for now thing. Also want to test fit my wheels again. See if I get the other side done, I might be able to set this thing on the ground. All right, first time it's on the ground on its own wheels. The front's up kind of high, obviously, because there's no motor or trans in it, so the weight's kind of off. I haven't adjusted the coilovers at all. I mean, these Tane Flex Z's come pre-set up. They're for a GD, but they're pre-set up and a similar weight, so this isn't the last time it's going to be on the ground. Obviously, I gotta do a lot more stuff, but overall it's not looking too bad for just kind of eyeballing the suspension. It's definitely got some positive camber, so the wheel's tucking or poking quite a bit. I think I can get that tucked up in there a little bit with maybe 2 or 3 degrees of camber. Don't want to run more than 2, because I am going after performance for this, not just stance. Something is going on with this side. I don't know what the hell is going on, but this thing, no matter what I do, is just got positive camber. So I don't know if this knuckle is bent or what the hell is going on. This wasn't even the side that was crashed. The driver front on the STI was crashed. This side was fine. So I don't know, maybe this knuckle is just screwed, because no matter what I do, even with the camera bolts I got, it just does that. So I tried lengthening the arms, I tried literally everything. Nothing will bring out the positive camber in it. So, and these coilovers are not directional, like the top hats are symmetrical. So really not sure what I could do to fix that. I gotta figure something out, because that's not gonna work obviously. But this side's looking pretty good. The steering rack is not centered, it's way off to the left. So the tie rods are in there, kind of just whatever for now. But yeah, it's starting to come together. It's really cool to see it on the ground. I put my little steering thing back on, the Nardi horn button. Gotta figure out how to get that horn to work, but it looks really cool with the STI gauges and everything in there. But yeah, it was the first look. We take a step back, and I cannot wait to get this thing on the road. But that's gonna do it for this video. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see this thing finished, and we'll see you next time.